So BTC's just pinged 70K off the back of that beautiful CPI data release that came on. And we were calling this yesterday. We were saying the bottom was in for this current move. And now these things have absolutely fired. So today we're going to deal with a lot of things. But most importantly, there is an FOMC coming in the next 2 hours. Are they going to throw another spanner in the works here for us? I'm going to tell you how we're going to deal with the current situation that we are in. How we're going to deal with these alts that are sitting at some resistance zones. Where's the pullback areas? And how am I going to play this volatility? So we got a lot to talk about today, guys. Let's get right into this. And remember, as always, if you are enjoying the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell. And listen to Uncle Michael as well.
Treat the like button like Michael Jackson. Just beat it.
Just beat that like button for us there. Okay, so Banter Bubbles is looking so good at the moment here. Yesterday, it was blood red. We were feeling the heat. And remember, when we were saying yesterday, when we are feeling the most bearish, when we are hating crypto, when we are hating life, we want to get out of crypto, those always give us the best entry opportunities. And always, self-awareness in these moments is critical to understand the process. So here we are, Banter Bubbles looking hot. What has responded well to BTC strength? Look at stacks, 14% up at the moment. The meme tokens, Pepe flying again, as we know, doing well. Brett is pumping again. Cass, which was quiet for a couple of days, is a mover. So things are looking good. And Injective about to melt faces, which is breaking the 200-day moving average. I'm going to deal with that one as well today. There might be another long brewing for Injective quite imminently. So we're going to take a look at that. Right, let's first get into the current BTC situation. And let's also just celebrate what happened yesterday, because we actually caught the absolute bottom of that move live on the show. So right now, what are we looking at? Here's the 2 hour. And you can see our bottom was in at the tap on the 65,900. This was the 50-day moving average and the 382 fib that I had in play for us. And as we pinged that, we went absolutely long there. So we're going to cover that one. And I took profit at this region here yesterday. And then I reopened a BTC long, which I'm going to show you now shortly. And currently, we are now sitting at resistance. So this is a TP zone. This is an exit zone for those of you that are trading. And I'm going to be taking profit here. And I have, in the interim, opened a short-term BTC short. So we're going to take a look at that now. But let's first quickly enjoy this moment. So here is my second BTC long from yesterday. And you can see here we are now up in profit. I'm going to close this one immediately here because we are at a resistance zone. I'm closing it. There's volatility. We've had a nice good trade now, and we've made some profits. Now we're at resistance zones. I don't feel like giving it back to the market at the moment. So I'm going to hold onto those profits. But let's just take a look at yesterday and just relive the absolute magic. I'm sure some of you guys were sitting on the show with us yesterday, and when we jumped into that long. So let's just take a look at how we played this one. Ray, just let me know if you can hear the sound that's coming out here. Let me just pull this one in. Okay, so here we were yesterday, Ray. Let me know if you can hear the sound. 150 on a platter. Are you going to take this opportunity? We're on maximum speed here. Let's slow this thing down. Let's get this thing back into normal. Or are you going to let it slide by? So for me, another DCA zone for ETH. 3250. Oh, here we go. Here comes the meltdown from all heavens. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. There's Ray giving me feeling the pressure. Let's take a look. Here we go. BTC's just hit our area. Let's take a long here quickly on BTC. Let's go. I'm going to take a 0.5 long here on BTC. Let's see if we can hold this region here. We've just pinged our first region here. You can see I'm sitting in Seoul as well, getting rinsed out at the moment. And let's watch BTC now. So we've just pinged this 50-day MA. Is it going to hold? Let's wait and see. So right now, if you did take this long, you can look at this wick and the 50-day MA. I'm going to put a stop here at 65,790 here on my Prime XBT account. So what a magical moment that was, that we caught the absolute bottom, because I always talk about these reaction zones and these big areas for you, and sometimes you really need to act when we hit these zones. We got to back these areas. We need to trust these big zones. So when you hit these areas, you got to go for it. As a trader, you got to jump. You got to take that leap and have a go. Obviously, sometimes we are going to be wrong. It's the nature of the game. But when you hit your big zones, your high conviction zones, those are the ones that you need to jump into and get involved with. So a nice little mover there yesterday for us. us, let's take a look at what happened now in the news. So this is Forex Factory. We spoke about this one yesterday. This is what you want to track for all the economic data and things like that are coming out. And you can see CPI year on year came in 3.3%. So a lot of the guys were calling 3.4%. So this was a nice, super bullish surprise for us. And the market reacted perfectly well. But now, what do we have to deal with? This is the FOMC. And here's a clock. It's a ticking clock, basically telling us here, are we going to get rinsed out in 2 hours, 21 minutes? Is there going to be dovish talk, or is there going to be hawkish talk? Are they going to surprise us with a potential rate cut maybe later on this evening? So there's a lot happening now. What I can suggest, though, is if some of your trades that you are sitting in are sitting at resistance areas, now's the time to really start saying, okay, let me raise some stops. Maybe I must take some profit just in case. Now, if they do talk, we generally have volatility in these moments, and we could have quite a big meltdown followed by a pump and all these types of things. So just make sure if you are sitting in trades, you don't want to give up all your profits. Maybe leave some of them open. And I'm going to guide you now on a lot of these tokens that we looked at yesterday. And I'm going to tell you pullback zones and areas that you can watch where you can add to some of these other positions that you are keeping open, or maybe exit zones that you are going to play with. So let's just look how the S&P responded, and S&P still just grinding higher. Loved that CPI news as well. So we saw Bitcoin rip the the S&P 500 is absolutely ripping, and my target for the S&P 500 is still marked at this 5,600 level. I'm still looking at that. How do we get there? Well, could be a little bit of up down along the way, but I'm expecting a move into that region at some point in the near term, I would say. It looks like we are going to be nailing that one pretty soon, I would guess. So 5,600 is the current S&P 500 target. Now, yesterday, other than me talking to you guys and telling you there was a potential reversal coming, there was a lot of other guys on Twitter talking about these things, and I just wanted to bring this one up. And this was Gun Show, and he was saying this is a scam dump. Now, remember, we were feeling all that pain yesterday, and he said in the past 4 FOMCs in 2024, every single one of them had the same scam dump. BTC dumped 10% in 48 hours before all of them. And this is what we were saying yesterday. It's always quite nice when you start bleeding into an economic event or a data event. And we often see then the reverse happen. And the time I actually get a little bit nervous is when we start pumping into these types of events. That's normally a top signal, or a signal that we are going to get some kind of reversal. So remember, for future reference, if we are dumping into these types of events, there's often they trying to price these things in, and then we do get a nice little reversal. And it's no coincidence that it landed on all these amazing support zones that we saw brewing yesterday. Don Crypto Trades also just giving us a little picture here as to what happened with price action last month versus this month on the CPI data. So here was, if we look at his chart here, this is just quite an interesting one. And he's saying on the left-hand side, this was last month when we got the CPI data. Look at that pump. We beat it by 0.1%. And today we've beaten it by 0.1%. And he's telling us here, is this time for another fractal? Are we going to look at a big push now into 72K for BTC? So we're nearly there at the moment. And we're going to have to see how that plays out. But just very interesting perspective here. And I see Sachs got the AIA. He says, I sold the bottom again. Guys, I told you guys, we don't want to be opening shorts on support. We don't want to be selling on major support. We had the RSIs all turning over. They were bottoming out here for you guys. And the signs were there that you just needed to hang on and not get flushed out. So if you did sell that support, look, hopefully it's a lesson here for you guys. It's a lesson here. Remember these moments. Remember when you're sitting on major support. These are your times. These are the moments when you're feeling uncomfortable. These are the times where you get these types of entries. Okay, Kabisi Letter just reminding us now that, things are so volatile out there, but prediction markets now, they've priced in 2 interest rate cuts this year now at the current situation. I remember not long ago, there were 0 rate cuts priced into the market. So things are definitely changing out there. And President Biden says prices are still too high. But Wednesday's report shows welcome progress on lowering inflation. Is he giving us a clue? Elections are coming. Are they going to start surprising us? Are we going to get some rate cuts and those type of things? And one more bit of news here for you guys. Are the whales still buying? Interesting note here from Crypto Quant. more than 20,000 Bitcoin flow to Whale Wallet. It appears that the whales took advantage of yesterday's correction. Remember, Michael Saylor, all those types of guys, when you are selling your BTC at the bottom of the move, when you are selling on major support, you are dishing out your Bitcoin to all these big whales, and they are now laughing. So watch these guys. And remember, when you get a long meltdown like that, and oftentimes you need to start looking for reversals. Now, our liquidation map, let's just see where we are. I'm just refreshing this guy. I just want to see what we are looking at the moment. Okay, so we are slap bang in the middle here, and just some interesting levels, notable levels now. If we do get a flush out, so you can see the longs are outweighing the shorts at the moment, and we can see lower down 67,500. There's a nice little gap here. So to me, that would make sense if they want to flush us to 67,500, 67,600, even that little gap, and then a little bit higher, 71,300 as well, a little push up. So these are two little target zones that we can watch. Now, let's just tackle the current BTC levels. Let's just look at where we are going and what is happening. So why am I in a short-term short at the moment on BTC? Well, number one, you can see we've pinged our 618, and now we are rejecting at this horizontal and 618. So just a regulation area here where I would look for a long or look for a short when we do pop into these zones. So we can see now slight little breather coming now for BTC. Now, how do we tackle this, and how do we play our altcoins that we are sitting in longs on at the moment? So this is the typical move that you're going to do. You're going to pull your fib from the low, the absolute bottom of this move. This is the 2-hour chart, and you're going to pull the fib to the high, and you want to get out your 382 and your 618 fibs, and you want to try and just get an understanding of where these guys are. Now, if we do get some kind of volatility here and the market is going to remain bullish, you generally are going to see that these types of areas are the ones where we get bounces, and these are the types of areas are the areas where we get little pings if they want to do a quick flush and just take out a couple of longs. So right now, what am I looking at here? If we do get volatility today, this is bouncer number one for me. This is where you're going to TP any shorts that you are in. This is where you are looking for potential longs on Bitcoin. So 68,400 to 68,500 is a potential long zone. Now, if we get some slight volatility here, general dovish talk, but volatility in the market, some profit taking, I would expect 68,400 to 68,500 to hold for BTC. That is going to be a potential long zone here for us. If things turn out a little bit deeper and darker, you need to watch 67,500. That is now a big area that you're going to pay attention to. 67,500. That is your 618 fib again, and that is your horizontal tied in. So 67,500. That is your next one. 67,500. These are both bullish long zones. These are both areas where you can start looking for BTC longs here. If you are going to remain bullish and the market's going to remain bullish, I expect BTC to bounce at either one of these zones, and either one of these zones is where we can exit some of our shorts as well and things like that. Okay, let's get straight into these altcoins. I know you guys are probably wondering now, what is the plan? How are we going to do this? So I'm going to give you my plan on how I'm dealing with things, and let's see if we can manage this process together. So always a little banger, a little runner when BTC is doing well is Stacks. You need to look at that one, and I remind you guys time and time again that Stacks is always an absolute ripper. And just a reminder, Stacks off the 618 yesterday and holding the 50-day MA and holding the 200-day MA. So a nice little mover on BTC strength for Stacks. And what is the current plan now? So what you can do now is you can see that BTC is at resistance, and at the same time, you're going to start seeing that a lot of your altcoins are sitting at resistance zones now. Whatever you are going through, whatever charts you're looking at, you're going to see a lot of these alts now are rejecting at resistance zones. And now it's a question of how do we deal with this? Are we going to handle the pullbacks? What is the play going to be? So number one, what you can do, if you are happy to hold your position, you can now bring your stops to entry. Number one, if you are super bullish on the market, and then you can let things play out. So you might see a little bit of volatility in the zone, a little bit of pullback, and then if things remain bullish, we're going to get a nice little pop in these areas, and then we're going to ride. And once we start breaking these resistance zones, that's going to give you the opportunity then to add to some of your positions and maybe start growing the size. So these are for your longer term sort of swing trades that you are looking at. If you are a shorter term trader, well, you are now at a TP zone. So now you need to look for a TP zone here. Now you need to look to take profits, raise your stops, maybe start de-risking a little bit in case there is volatility. And then you're going to look for your next trade. What is your next trade on stacks, for example. So we're going to dial in here and take a closer look. We're going to just zoom in a little bit, and then I'm going to show you exactly how you can play these things. So next potential trade for stacks, let's say you are not in a trade currently. Next trade is a nice bullish pop of this region, and then you're going to be looking for this bullish retest in that zone. So that is your next potential trade, only on the break and the retest of that region. That is zone number one. And then your next potential area that you can look at, if we get volatility now later on in the next 2 hours during this FOMC, this is what you're going to be looking at as potential trade zones now for stacks. And you're going to see how BTC can potentially tie in on corresponding fibs as well. So first zone that you are going to be looking at for stacks, pullback area 2.3. You're looking at a move into the zone 2.3. Nice little long zone there on stacks. And then we've still got the super bullish 618 pullback zone for stacks, and that is going to be 2.23. So these are your three trade options that you have now leading into volatility. So if your overall bias is cool, CPI was great, they're going to be relatively dovish. We're going to churn up now for the next month or two, or the next couple of weeks even for that matter, then these are your zones. These are the areas that you are looking at now for stacks long. So just to remind you, 2.3, a little bit lower down, 2.2. These are your zones. These are your reaction zones. And if the market starts running now without us, then you've got to wait for that pullback, and you want to pull back onto bullish support at around about 2.4. So you just need to play the patience game now. You just need to hang in there and let things play out a little bit now. And obviously, if you're not in any positions now, there's a sense of FOMO and things like that. But what I can say to you guys is just remain calm now in these situations. Now is not the time to be jumping into any new positions unless you're already sitting in maybe some reaction shorts or you've TP'd. So just take your time now and let things start playing out a little bit. Okay, let's just tackle BTC quickly on the 8 hour. I just want to remind you guys again, and it's a very simple thing. You guys can do this.
Hold on. Let's tackle the likes before we tackle Bitcoin. Or tackle anything else. We need to tackle some likes.
If we are enjoying the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and make Uncle Ray happy. He's happy. He's not trading Celestia at the moment. He's very happy at the moment. Okay, so this is a simple thing that you guys can use, and it's a little trick that I've been using for years with BTC. Whenever I feel I need to start identifying when there is going to be a reversal for BTC, I dump the stochastic RSIs, I dump all that stuff, and I just pull out the regular RSI. Now, you guys have seen me do this multiple times on my shows over the last year or so, and this trick never seems to let me down. So what we did, I pulled out the regular RSI on the 4 hour, I pulled out the regular RSI on the 8 hour, and we know this thing has been back tested a million times here. Whenever we hit these extreme lows, you can see we have great reactions from BTC. So yesterday I was just trying to emphasize on all these altcoins and on BTC once again, use the regular RSI. Look what happens every time these things hit these major low zones, and look what happened every time we pushed down into these big zones. We got some decent moves up, and yesterday was no difference. We are pushing down on that regular RSI onto major support, and I was saying let's just hang in there, and then we're going to get a nice little reaction. So nice little trick for you guys. Use the regular RSI, especially when the market is melting down hard. When we've had 2 or 3 days of red, we're feeling the pain, bang out the regular RSI and start using it as a guide. And when you start seeing these things dip under 20% and we're sitting on big support zones, then you know that the time is near. The time is very close for some kind of reversal. How is everybody doing here in the chats? Where are my people here today? And I know some of the guys in Sniper Club are
everyone's actually asking, are you okay there? How's your nose there? You got the sniffles?
My nose? What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. In the comments, they're asking if you have the sniffles.
Dude, I got punched in the face. You can see I've got a mark here on my nose. I see Kenny Cornell. He says, I'm trading Celestia just for Ray, especially for Ray. I have some vodka. We'll take that away. The pain. Let's see what else we got. Kevin Doot O'Reilly. Don't be shy, folks. He says, attack the like button. I see Michelle is here. Michelle, good to have you here. I hope you guys got that render entry yesterday, and they really did put us under pressure, but that render entry held. So guys, let me know in the chats if you guys got any of those positions. I gave you Phantom yesterday. I gave you AVAX. I think we gave you Ethereum. I gave you render. We gave you 𝗤𝗏. We gave you so many setups yesterday. Let me know in the chats. I just want to see how you guys are cooking out there, and I want to see if you guys got some of these moves. I see CBD is telling us Injective is still ripping here for us. And what else? Let's see. DNS says But how to find the perfect bottom? Well, we found it yesterday. And if you stick around and you watch the show, then you will see how we find it. Because, yeah, on this show, we focus on very juicy zones. And we're obviously big into the bullhorn here at the moment. So stick around, watch the show, and then you will find how we pick these bottoms here and how we print these green candles. Let's see. Josh says we are great. He likes juiciness here.
Juicy, extremely juicy.
Okay, enough digressing. Let's get into some of our next altcoins. Okay, here is we've done with stacks. Let's deal with ETH. Okay, so ETH looking good, and we had the same situation here on ETH on that RSI yesterday. Bottomed out, things were looking good. We were sitting on a nice support zone. So now what are you doing if you are trading ETH? Well, your first support zone that you are going to watch now for ETH has to be 3,550. We've now reclaimed this major previous support zone. We've now broken back into it, and we're going to be looking for this 3,550 to hold. So nothing you need to do here on ETH until you start losing that 3,550. So I'm watching 3,550 on ETH. That is now major support for me. If they're going to send us lower, the market is falling over. Things are misery out there if they're going to send us to these levels, and we're going to be retesting some lows. All our altcoins are going to get absolutely rinsed out. So watch out. 3,400 to 3,300. That is your next big support. But right now, if you are long ETH, all you need to worry about 3,500 to 3,550. That is going to be your Ethereum support. Other than that, let this thing ride, let it fly. Okay, here is Render. And this was, it was actually perfection, the way this thing came back into the box. Look at this. We had a test on 618. We had a test on a rising trend as well. And we had some tie-in from horizontals here on Render. We had heavily oversold RSI as well. That was giving us a nice clue onto support. And what did we do? We fired off. So they tried to rinse you guys out yesterday. We moved into the zone. What did they do? Asia came last night and started selling a little bit, dumped into the zone, and then we fired it off today. So if you took this Render trade, you are now at TP1. This is a zone now where you need to be taking profit. You need to be de-risking a little bit. You can see why we've marked this TP1, and this is now your reaction area. So make sure you've raised your stops to at the very least. Maybe you're clipping something off now, off the top. If we do start pushing higher, I've got another juicy level for you guys right up here, and this is the horizontal. So we're looking at around about 9.7 is your next potential reaction zone, your next potential resistance zone for Render. So if we keep grinding higher, make a note, and this is going to be a profit zone for you. This is where you want to TP. We've got a lot in the way here. We've got horizontals, we've got the 50-day MA, and we also have some fibbage in the way of this region. So look out for that one, and nothing you can really do now other than just sit back and enjoy the moment. I mean, what a great mover here, and well done to everybody who did get this one. It did finally deliver for us. Okay. The next one was Rune that I gave you guys yesterday off the 618. So this is a nice little banger, and same principle as well. I banged out the regular RSI, and you can see this thing was bottomed out. Rune was sitting at support, and the signs were there that we were going to get some kind of reversal in the zone. Now, how do we treat this? What do we need to do? Well, you can see what's going on here right now. Rune is sitting at a resistance band. Okay, so resistance area currently, this is a potential take profit zone. Maybe you want to just take something off the table. Maybe you want to raise your stops, de-risk here a little bit before our next move. And what you can do is now dial in, and you can look for potential pullback areas. So what we're going to do is the exact same thing we did with Bitcoin there, and we're going to pull our fibs from the absolute lows to the highs, and then we want to just make sure that we can find our support zones and our potential bounce regions. So number one for me on Rune, your first area, 5.17. This is now a big support zone that you can watch. This is a big area now that you can pay attention to. If we do get a bleed out tonight now in the next 2 hours, that is a potential reaction zone for me. That's a potential buy zone. That's a potential zone you can add to your position if you want to grow the size. So 5.17 for me, for Rune, 5.17 is your next big area. And then a little bit lower down, I've got a 618.5 on the button, 5.03. 5.03 for me is the next one. That's your next sort of bullish buy zone here for Rune. If they are going to try and end us, then you know what to do. Yesterday's lows, that's the absolute low. If you start losing that, then we are going straight to hell, and the market is looking incredibly messy. So bulls out there, remember, and for the rest of the tokens that I'm going to be showing you now, if you are bullish, 382 fib, 618 fib, make sure it's tying in with some horizontals and things like that, and then you are going to be fine. As long as your bias is bullish and the market plays ball, these are your hot zones, these are your areas where you can collect and start pushing on. And those of you, I could feel some of you guys were empathizing with me yesterday when I was getting absolutely burnt out on 𝗟𝗓𝗓, and I gave you my plan. I said to you guys, I was going to hold this thing up to the 618. If we lost that 618, I was going to have to exit and take an absolute mega blow there on that BitGet trading comp. But fortunately now we got the reaction, and disappointingly for me, 𝗟𝗓𝗓 has been a great mover for us. It's been a massive mover whenever we have had weakness, and now it's been actually quite slow relative to Injective, relative to Render, relative to Rune as well, and we've hopefully are going to get a little bit more strength out of it. So let's just look at some pullback zones here for you guys. I'm going to dial in here on the 4 hour. I just want to get a feel for where this thing could potentially reverse. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to pull our fibs from the absolute lows. We're going to pull it to the highs. And we're going to look for some bullish support zones, bullish bounce areas, okay? Number one, this is what we're looking at here. 𝗟𝗓𝗓 34.6. Okay, 34.6 support zone number one. And look at this juicy zone here. Look at this guy here. We've got a 618 tied in with some beautiful horizontals. So this is a buy zone for me as well on any pullback. 33.55. Look at this zone here. That for me, if we get weakness tonight, and the weakness isn't that bearish, it isn't that hawkish, that is got to be an entry here for you on 𝗟𝗓𝗓. 33.5, watch that area closely. That could be an absolute banger. So watching 34.5, nice little area, higher conviction zone for me, pullbacks onto 33.5. That could be a banger here for you guys. Watch that area closely on 𝗟𝗓𝗓, and then potential targets that you can look out for based on the 1 hour that I'm watching. We're going to just look at the 50-day MA. You want to watch out for 39.6. That's going to be one of your targets, and you're going to look at the horizontal 38.2. That is your next one. So potential move coming here, and that's going to be after some kind of bullish pullback or bullish bounce. We're going to be watching those zones. So good luck with those levels, and that is literally my simple game plan on how I go about doing these things. So here is my current trade situation. So you guys will notice, to my great relief, I've had a many thousands of dollars reversal here on my misery from yesterday, and you can see now we've just finally turned green for me. And Rune is cooking, Render's cooking, and here is my short-term BTC short in case there is going to be a little bit more weakness. So that's a little hedge for me to ride this thing down. So my current bias is I am bullish. I'm looking for bigger things over the next week or three. But if we do get a 382 pullback or a 618 pullback, I'm going to have a BTC short in play here that's potentially just going to carry my account down with me, just print some profits there and give me some extra cash to buy the 382 and the 618 bounces, which I'm going to be looking at doing. So that is the current plan. If the market starts ripping from here, well, we know these altcoins that you see here are going to start printing anyway, and that short's going to basically be invalidated and just squashed out, and I'll just cut that at the high. So nothing too stressful going on here at the moment. So we covered for shorts, we covered for longs, and we're going to see how this now is going to play out in the next couple of hours. So a big evening ahead, lots happening here. Okay, let's look at Sol. This was another big one. I know a lot of you guys were trading Sol yesterday, and some of the guys were feeling a bit of pain. So Sol has fortunately grabbed a major support zone again. So the same way we were looking at ETH with major support, now we have Sol 152, call it 152 on the button is now your big Sol support that you're going to be watching. And if you are sitting in Solana scalps, well, you can keep your eyes on the 50-day moving average. That is sitting at 156.9. So that is current short-term support. This is for the degens, okay? Degen traders, their support, 50-day moving average and horizontals. These are the absolute degens. But the more reserve traders, 152, watch that level for me. Solana, 152, that's the big one. And a little bit higher up, 157, 156.9. That's got to be your Sol support for later on today. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Who else is cooking here in the chat? Who's writing all these long things? Anna says, where's it going? I hope we can find out what she is talking about. Commandante says 𝗕𝗼𝗚. Guys, don't worry. These cats are going to come back. Bruce says Dylan is pumping. And Pepe's son, Pipi, is about big bag. Okay, so Pipi is actually Pepe's son. We're going to deal with some of these meme coins tomorrow. I wasn't able to deal with them today because we got all this FOMC and CPI news and all these things. But I'm planning on sending Donald Trump a little gift for his birthday as well. And I know we've got some of his wallets there, and maybe we can send him some absolute shit coins. And maybe Pipi is going to be on that list. So we're going to deal with that one potentially tomorrow and see what we can do. I see Brandon says, Dill, when are we golfing? Guys, I used to love a bit of golf. I used to love a bit of an iron and a drive. Not going to lie. Now I just love trading, so I'm not playing much golf anymore. And let's see, Ondora says, Dylan is always picking bottoms to find entries. Look, that is my game. That is my specialty, is finding entries, finding bottoms and those type of things. And that is what I love. That is what excites me about the market, looking for these lows and getting the timing right. There's no better rush in trading than timing this stuff right. It's a great feeling. What else we got? Let's see. Steve says, I'm here, China. He's here. Steve is here. And Neil says, Dylan, bearish on your nose. Come on, guys. Yeah, no, it looks like I got in a boxing fight the other day. Okay, let's go. Let's move on to our next one. And it's AVAX. So, guys, we called this one live on the show. It was dipping into the zone. I said to you guys, here's a potential long for you right now on AVAX. Hopefully, I really hope some of you guys grabbed some of these entries yesterday. This was just too good to be true. The way it dipped into this region here, perfect range play here for us. And AVAX is underway. So I'm hoping some of you guys got some of these moves. I see CryptoPunk is quite happy about the AVAX situation. So, yeah, all is well now on AVAX. What are we looking at? We're pumping into a little bit of resistance. So I just want to highlight this resistance band for you. You can see this is now an area where you just need to pay attention. Now we've got FOMC coming. We could have volatility. So if you were looking for a short-term trade on AVAX, this is where you can de-risk a little bit, raise your stops, look at resistance zones now and say, okay, maybe I can trim something off here. Maybe I take 20% off. Maybe I cut 30%, something along those lines. But just remember resistance zones, and they are called resistance zones because they are resistance zones. And sometimes they're going to give you a move like that, and then you're going to watch your profits just disappear on the way down. So look out. But the same way we're going to play this one, and the same way we're going to look at some of these other alts, we're going to dial in now on the 1 hour. And what you need to do now is find your volatility entry zones now for AVAX. So again, if your overall view is you are bullish now, what you're doing is you're pulling your fib from the low to the high, and you're looking at your most or your bullish pullback zone. So number one, AVAX first line of support that you're going to be watching. Nothing wrong with a pullback here, 32.4. Nothing unreasonable if they want to just melt AVAX down into the zone. Bang, 32.4 is what you're looking at. Then a little bit lower down, 31.8. That is your next region you're watching, 31.8 on AVAX. Both of these are bullish zones. Both of these are late entry zones. Okay, now remember how this stuff works. You generally get your best entries when you are feeling most bearish and the market is falling over. Like I said, you hate crypto, you hate life, you want to give up. Those are your best entries, number one. Okay, then your next best entry is after a pump. You got to look for the pullback. Now we are sort of chasing a little bit now. This is the 382 pullback. This is the 618 pullback. And quite often that is linked to a trend break. So these are your secondary entries now. So that is the current plan. There's always your main entry, which is the absolute lows that you try and work off major support. And then your next bullish zone, if the move is going to continue, you're generally going to find that these alts are going to bounce off 382s. They're generally going to bounce off 618 fibs. So all you need to do now is watch these areas. These could be your next potential zones. And here is the trend break, for example, that I was talking about. We'll just take a trend from that high and we'll pull that through there. And you can see now we've got a trend break, and now we're looking for bullish retests. And wouldn't that make sense now? A bullish retest on a 382 and a trend for the next bounce place. So 32.5 and a little bit lower, 31.8 for AVAX. That is your game plan there. That is how you're going to deal with that one. And same with Phantom, exactly the same situation here. And you guys can obviously play this fib game all day long, but that is how I would play it. So right now, AVAX, yesterday we at AVAX 200-day moving average. That was a big mover there for us. Now we are kicking on. Okay, so how do we deal with this now? What do we want? We want bullish pullbacks if we are going to remain bullish. And the exact same principle here. You're going to dial in and you're going to pull those fibs. You're going to go from the lows to the highs, and we want to identify our hot zones. These are our big reaction areas. Even on the 1 hour, they should give you reactions on these type of pullbacks. So 382 and the 618. And you can see these zones here. So Phantom 0.665. That's a hot zone now. If we get a meltdown into that zone, nice little area to start maybe sniffing around for a couple of longs. And then your next area you're watching is got to be 0.645. Now, both of these are bullish pullback zones. Maybe a little bit of volatility here. They flush out the late longs because we know everybody jumped in late. If you didn't jump in yesterday and you jumped into your trades today, you were late. Okay, so they're going to come potentially and try and flush out some of these longs, wipe out some of these candles, and try and inflict a little bit of pain there on some of the traders. So don't fall for their tricks. Look out for these support areas, and remember the rule now: if the market starts running without these pullbacks, at some point we always get the pullback. We always get the 618 pullback. We always get the 382 pullback. So let the market play out. Let it do its thing. If it wants to come running, we can always hunt again. When we get our new high, we're going to drag our fibs higher up. So let's say, for example, the market starts ripping now tonight and it prints a high there and it rejects. Okay, then we're going to just pull up our new high. We're going to drag our fib from the low to the high, and then we're going to look for tie-in. Where can we get horizontal tie-in here on the 382? Where can we get it on the 618? And those type of things. And those are going to be your bullish zones. So just be patient. Don't FOMO. Play the hot zones. You don't want to be caught in a situation where you're longing into resistance and then they reverse on you with some bad news or a bad tweet or something like that. You really want to play the support game. Okay, CAS also, absolute ripper. Guys, I've got so many tokens here for you guys. CAS is looking good. So 382 bounce, beautiful. Trend and 382 in the zone. So 0.157 was your support zone, and a nice little mover. Let's dial in now for CAS traders, and we can just take a look. We're going to play the exact same game here for you at the moment. Let's just dial in. Okay, so we're going to pull our fib from the low to the high. And look at this juicy zone here. Look how nice this is here. Okay, so we've got a nice horizontal. So we know we've got big support now for CAS in this region, 0.170. 0.170. That is big support now for CAS. Any CAS pullbacks, that has got to be a zone where you start looking for potential secondary longs now. Okay, so if you didn't grab it off the 382, now your next area has got to be this bullish pullback, 0.170. And then a little bit lower down, we've got our 618, 0.165. So look out for that meltdown into here tonight. You never know. It could be a little candle. It could be a little quick wick on some volatility. Remember, during the speech, he's going to say some things that are quite bullish. He could potentially say things that are quite bearish, and we're going to get volatility in between. But that might give the traders and the leverage traders these hot entry zones that you can look for. So again, on CAS, 0.17, and a little bit lower down, 0.165. Loving those areas. Those look great for me. Rob says, now I know why I sucked at leverage. Rob, there's a couple of ways you can unsuck at leverage. Number one, watch my show every day on Banter Plus. I'll show you the moves. Number two, join Sniper Club. We've got myself and Sheldon and their amazing sniper crew in the Sniper Club. We've got incredible traders in there. We've got an incredible community, and we have just launched our own meme DGen channel, and we've pulled in one of the major meme traders from Twitter. He is now working inside the Sniper Club for Sniper Club members. So there's so much going on there. If you want to learn how to trade, come and hang out with us in the Sniper Club. There's a link in the description that you can grab there and get involved with us and see how we do it. And we'll teach you how to trade leverage. We've got an amazing team in there looking after you guys. Boom. And I see Matty says Sniper Club is worth it. Guys, we've launched this DGen meme channel. The types of returns that some of these guys are making are insane at the moment. So check it out. Come and join us. Come and join us for a month even and take a look. Okay, I wanted to talk to you guys about two more things. I'm actually in another trading competition using CoinCatch, and I also wanted to update you on AITECH because this chart is starting to looking very juicy, and we can't really ignore what is going on here. So just a reminder, we introduced AITECH to Sniper Club sometime in October, November. Those guys have done something like 20 or 30x on that intro, and AITECH is now sitting on an amazing level. And just a reminder, AITECH is basically going to be a GPU marketplace. They're essentially going to be Uber for these high-powered machines and data centers. And this stuff is going live pretty soon. And when this thing goes live, the action is going to be happening, and the market is going to wake up to what is going on with AITECH. And there's an opportunity here for you guys to look at some support here on AITECH. If you are looking for potential longs, you're looking for potential areas of interest here, look at the zone here on AITECH. We've got 200-day moving average support, 0.14. Look at this area consolidating very nicely. And we've got the 200-day pushing up. We've got the 50-day MA squeezing down. And what did we see on a couple of other tokens that did this? For example, Stacks. When we got that nice squeeze, we had a big explosion out of that zone. So a little bit of consolidation. Are they leading this consolidation into the launch of the marketplace? When the market wakes up to what is going on, these guys will be making money. And all of a sudden, we have a project. Right now, it's a $100 million market cap. And this thing has got big things planned. If we are looking for a move here on this thing, the highs that we can pay attention to right now are about 200% away. We don't have to be that greedy with the potential trade or the potential move, but what we can do is pull a couple of fibs and look for some target zones here for you. Number one for me has got to be 0.287, and number two has got to be 0.37. So look at this, looking nice and juicy. You've got support here, 0.14, nice little support zone. So a little update here for AITECH. Things are still looking good. The chart is still on support. We called it here in this region last time. We got a small little pump, and we got that rejection. Now there's a second bite at the cherry, and a small little pump that was actually 50%, a 50% move on AITECH. So take a look there, and 50% move could be a fun little play on AITECH. Keep your eyes on it. Here's their Twitter, and you can follow them. They're AITECH.io, and you can see they've got 400,000 followers here, massive community behind what is happening here, and things are definitely looking good. AITECH AIMC says spot or leverage. This is a spot play for you guys, potentially big move coming, so watch this one closely, and nice juicy support here on the 200-day MA. That is looking good. Okay, and then guys, don't forget, I'm trading in another competition on CoinCatch. So if you go into the link in the description of the show, you're going to see a whole menu here underneath for you guys of all these projects and all the exchanges that I'm trading on and all these things. You can see the Sniper Club there sitting at the top. We've got BitGet, we've got ZoomX, we've got Weeks, and we've got CoinCatch sitting here as well for you guys. So now I'm trading CoinCatch at the moment, and they offering the most ridiculous cashback opportunity here for you guys. 30% cashback on deposits. They've given you a little grid here underneath explaining how the different formulas work on getting your payback, but there's up to 30% cashback. And remember, this is a KYC friendly account. There's no KYC on this. You register this with the email address, you send your crypto in, and you trade leverage to your heart's content. And I'm still sitting in this IOTA position that I took ages ago. I had to sweat this one out, unfortunately, but it's finally given me a nice little bounce. So I'm waiting patiently on IOTA here on CoinCatch. When this thing starts breaking this resistance zone, I'm going to be looking to add to this position, and then we can start growing it. But it was a hell of a sweat. I rode this thing all the way down, waiting for this move yesterday, and finally we got it. So when this thing eventually breaks this horizontal, I'm going to look to add to this position. I just want to grow this IOTA position. You really only need one decent or one big trade to start printing you, and then you actually do end up doing pretty well in a competition. You don't have to do, multiple trades, but look for something big. This is my current situation, and any of those setups that I've given you today, the 382 pullbacks, the 618 pullbacks, and those type of things, these could be primed perfectly for a little entry. So give CoinCatch a try here and take advantage of that limited offer. You can see the clock is ticking here. We've got 9 days left where they're offering this 30% cashback, and you can just click on the competition button and join this competition with me, and let's see how this is going to play out. So I'm rooting for IOTA here. It needs to blow this resistance here. I don't want to get rinsed out. I want this thing to pop, and I want to start growing the size. Currently, this position is $14,000. We want to try and get this one up to about $30,000 in size. If we can just break this resistance zone, then we can get moving. I see DNS Guru says, I hate KYC. Well, you're in luck. Okay, there's no KYC on this current exchange. Nat Durr says, has FOMC happened? No, it's happening in approximately an hour and a half. Let's just confirm. 1 hour, 44 minutes. Okay, so guys, jump into CoinCatch, KYC friendly, and send your cash there. Trade leverage. Just don't be reckless with it. And here is the IOTA chart. So this is what I've been watching, and this is why I didn't exit that position. I could see we had major support lower down, and I was just watching the zone, looking for this bounce here with the market. So now we're going to see how this is going to play out. Potential targets here for me on IOTA. And remember, there's bullish news on IOTA. Unfortunately, they fell over with the market in general falling over, but I think they could play catch up relatively quickly. So target for me, IOTA 0.237. that has got to be your zone. That is trend and that is horizontal. So that is my bigger target. That's the range high, and a very simple game plan here. If we start breaking through that area, look for that rejection on the 200-day MA, and then we're going to buy that retest. And the market will be pretty bullish by the time we're getting that retest on that trend. So I think we should get some decent sized moves here out of some of these tokens. We just need to start breaking some of these major trends. So I see Joshua said, is IOTA still around? Bro, that's an absolute dust coin. And I agree with you 1000%. And I was trading IOTA in 2020, 2021. And then they went off the rails and everyone said it was a dog shit project that disappeared. And then suddenly they revived themselves and they undust coined themselves, they reinvented themselves or something, and we noticed recently this thing started pumping again randomly out of stupid places. So yeah, funnily enough, I jumped into IOTA with that trade because of that bullish news, and it was really looking good at one point, but then the market came and absolutely killed us. So now I'm sitting in IOTA. I'm stuck in IOTA at the moment, but I'm going to unstuck myself if we start printing higher. I see Cunning George says get out of XRP, guys, come on. ADA, XRP, Litecoin, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? We can't even look at those.
Now you're going to talk about Celestia.
Never talking about Celestia again until tomorrow. One day Ray is gonna so no more dog shit.
One day I'm gonna show you 100x leverage up play on that. That's what I'm gonna show you.
One day Ray is gonna trade Celestia again. Okay, guys, here's a banger for you. Okay, here's one more banger before I part ways. Okay, I think I got a couple more for you as well. I got 2 meme coins for you guys. Okay, Injective, 200-day moving average. Now, this is major what is happening here. Okay, this is a big move. Now, Injective has been shown relative strength versus a lot of some of these other tokens. And we had this nice little pullback onto the 50-day MA yesterday. So they flushed out all the late longers. And now there are guys that were holding Injective that are no longer holding Injective. And this thing is now run off without them. Unfortunately, if they were using the 50-day MA, they would have seen that we had support there. And maybe they wouldn't have exited. So get that 50-day MA on your chart. What is going on now with Injective? Well, you can see what's going on. We are breaking into our previous major range. Okay, so if we can blow into the zone, this is going to give us a big trade opportunity. Now, we were speaking about this trade a couple of weeks ago, the secondary trade. It was a 45%er on Injective. So if you're not sitting in Injective, there's no panic now. Okay, there's no rush. You don't need to do anything. What we can see is the sign that Injective is going to start pushing into another major area. So what I'm going to suggest here is zoom in. We want to try and catch this move into this new range. So the plan here for me on Injective has got to be a bullish pullback onto some of these zones, and we want to try and catch this play. So we're going to look at a trend break. Potentially, we want to look at this trend retest as well. So let's see where our fibs are currently. Okay, we're pulling our fibs from the low to the high, and now we're looking for areas where we can potentially break into this new range. Okay, so right now we've pierced it. That's a great sign. Where do we get our entry? We're going to get our entry on a 382 retest, or potentially that 618 retest. That could be our entry into the new big range. So Injective traders right now, what you are watching, 30.15. Watch that area down to about 29.77. Okay, watch that area closely. A little bit lower down, 28.44. Both of these, if this market is going to turn bullish here, both of these areas could be your ticket into the new range, and that new range is a 45% trade on Injective that we're going to be looking for. This could take a couple of weeks to play out, but once we break into that range, the signs are there that we are going to potentially start moving higher. So those are your levels that you need to watch now for Injective. And if you are trying to build a position, you can see what's happened. We've blown the 200-day moving average, and we can just highlight some of the horizontal support that you can play around with as well. And you can see it pretty much ties in here, 30.48. There's some horizontal here for you guys that you can look at. 30.48, nice little zone for potential pullbacks as well. Active could be in a nice little zone. Legal Joe says, can we short now? Legal Joe, you can short, you can long, you can do whatever. What I would advise, we can see that a lot of these altcoins and a lot of these BTC is sitting at resistance. Okay, so here's an example for you guys. BTC pushed into a reaction zone, and the same way we long reaction zones is the same way we short reaction zones.
Financial advice, by the way. It's not financial advice. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
So I'm just, you know what? I'm giving you guys chart advice, okay? And I'm giving you a good time. And here's BTC. So you can see why I TP'd earlier. This was a reaction zone, okay? So 618 reaction zone. And this is a resistance zone, horizontal. And this is why I was looking for shorts in that area. Now we have shorted it. So if you are short BTC, where's your support? I mean, where's your resistance where you need to exit your trade? Well, you can look at the candle high at 70K on the button. And you can look at the previous high at 7180. Both of these are exit zones for you. So if the market starts pumping and you start breaking through 70K, maybe you want to cut that short. If you start breaking through 70,180, maybe you want to trim that short even more. But right now, that is a resistance zone until proven otherwise. And the same is going to play out on these altcoins as well. So the altcoins are at resistance. And this could be our sign. We look for our bullish pullbacks. Where's our bullish pullbacks? 382 potentially. 618. I want to give you guys one sneaky fib though. I'm going to give you the 236 fib. Okay. It's the most bullish fib that you can get. The 236 fib. Watch this one on BTC. If BTC is super bullish, 69K, it's going to bounce 69K. So watch 69K, super bullish fib there for you guys. That is what you're going to be watching. Okay, guys, we're going to have to deal with these meme coins tomorrow. I've got Pepe and Myro. They bounced off great areas. Pepe's at resistance now. Just be careful. Myro bounced off that 618 I gave you guys yesterday. So that is looking good. We've run out of time. I'm going to be on with Sheldon a little bit later on, and we're covering that FOMC. So we'll see you on the main channel in about an hour and a half. I'll be on with Sheldon. We'll cover that stuff, guys. Well done if you got those trades. Now, play it safe, be smart, look out for volatility, watch your key support zones. I've given you a whole menu of areas that you can be watching. Just trade safe, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.